Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to see how to calculate heat transfer when radiation shield is inserted between two surfaces which are exchanging the radiation with each other. So for that purpose, we have to consider the two surfaces. Let us say this is the surface 1 and it is at some particular temperature T1. It is at uniformly it is at a temperature T1. It is having emissivity epsilon 1 and it is having area A1. Then let us consider the second surface. So this is the second surface. Now we are going to assume that it is at some uniform temperature T2. It has some emissivity epsilon 2 and it has some surface area A2. Remember, we are going to consider these surfaces large enough so that A1 almost becomes equal to A2. In between these two surfaces, one radiation shield has been inserted. Let me mark this as surface number 2, and then this is the radiation shield. It is designated by the symbol surface number 3, and it will have some emissivity, it will have some surface area, it will have some temperature, and both of the sides, for this consideration we are going to assume that both of the sides, both of the surfaces of this radiation shield, they will be having emissivity epsilon 3. Note that this surface of the radiation shield is facing the first plane. This surface of the radiation shield is facing the second surface. So accordingly, now we can construct the radiation thermal resistance network. So firstly, there will be, let me tell you in the sequence. So firstly, there will be surface resistance at the surface 1 itself. Then there will be space resistance between surface 1 and 2. Afterwards, there will be surface resistance for this side of radiation shield, then surface resistance for this side of radiation shield, which is facing now towards surface number 2. Then there will be space resistance between the radiation shield and surface 2, and then there will be again surface resistance for surface 2. Okay, so we will proceed in this direction. We will start from surface number 1. So here it will be EB1, black body emissive power of first surface, and then there will be first surface resistance up to J1, and then there will be some radiosity for the surface number 2. It will be designated by J2. Then, so please don't worry that the lengths do not match here. We are going in sequence so that we do not miss any single parameter. So radiosity of the second surface, and then there will be some uh, surface resistance, and then black body emissive power. My mistake, this will not be radiosity of second surface, this will be radiosity of the third surface. Then black body emissive power of this third surface, then its black body emissive power, then its radiosity, which is when it is facing for the surface 2, and between radiosity J3 and radiosity J2 there will be again one resistance, and then between this radiosity and emissive power of the second surface there will be one more resistance. So firstly we will identify the nature of the resistance, then we will write down its formula, then we will parameterize that formula, we will substitute the suitable parameter in that formula. Firstly, the resistance between EB1 and J1, it will be surface resistance, and we know that surface resistance is given as 1 upon epsilon upon A epsilon. So this epsilon or emissivity is for the first surface, area for the first surface, and also emissivity for the first surface. So that resistance is now completed. Remember, we first identified the nature of resistance, we wrote down the general formula, and then we modified that general formula for that particular case. Between J1 and J3, between radiosities, there will be space resistance. So it will be, let me just demark it down. So between J1 and J3, there will be space resistance, which is given as 1 upon A1F13, which means area of the first surface and shape factor of the first surface with respect to the next surface. In this case, it is third surface. Or by reciprocity rule, we can also write this as 1 upon A3 F3 1. Okay. So that space resistance is finished. Now surface resistance for third surface between J3 and EB3. So again basic formula will remain same, 1 minus epsilon upon A epsilon, with only difference that this emissivity will be for third surface, emissivity for third surface, and area for third surface as well. That's it. Then between EB3 and J3 on this side, remember it is on this side. So again it is a surface resistance given as 1 minus epsilon upon A epsilon. So again epsilon for the third surface, emissivity for the third surface, and area for the third surface. Afterwards, between J3 and J2 there will be space resistance. Let me, okay, put the partition. Okay, so space resistance is 1 upon A3F32, very similar to this expression, area of the third surface and shape factor between shape factor with respect to the second surface. Or by reciprocity theorem we can write 1 upon A2F23. So that space resistance is finished. And then there will be again surface resistance for the second surface. So it will be given as 1 minus epsilon upon A epsilon, but epsilon for the second surface, epsilon for the second surface, and area for the second surface. In this way we have created the thermal resistance network. Remember, we did a simple exercise, but just we followed it in a very disciplined manner, in a very sequential manner. Firstly we plotted the nodal points. There will be, if it is at surface, then it will be EB1. So this is the surface 1, so this will be the surface 2, and this will be surface 3. So exactly at the surface there will be emissive power. For the surface there will be radiosity, individual surfaces, and again at the surface there will be emissive power. And we have written all the resistances in the sequential form. So by electrical analogy, the benefit of the electrical analogy is that we can simply write down the expression for heat transfer. We know that if we want to write down the expression for heat transfer by electrical analogy, then we can simply write it as potential difference, whatever is responsible for heat transfer, divided by thermal resistance. This is the simple understanding that we are using in this entire expression. So now we will proceed towards our derivation once the fundamentals are set. Now, in this case, let us say there was no radiation shield in place. Then still at that point there would have been heat transfer between surface 1 and surface 2. Then how do we quantify that heat transfer? We quantify that using the same philosophy of this electrical analogy. Like if there was no surface 3, so J3, EB3 and this J3, they will not come into picture. There will be only EB1, J1, J2 and EB2. At that point, how the thermal resistance network will look like? If there is no radiation shield. If there is no radiation shield, at that point what will happen with the thermal resistance network? We will start from EB1, then there will be J1, and then there will be J2 for the second surface, and then there will be EB2. Okay, now between EB1 and J1 there will be surface resistance. So it will be 1 minus epsilon upon A epsilon, but epsilon for the first surface, epsilon for the first surface, area for the first surface. Between J1 and J2, there is space resistance. It is given as 1 upon A1 F1 2. Remember, there is no third surface right now that we are considering, or it can be 1 upon A2 F2 1 by reciprocity theorem. Then between J2 and EB2, again surface resistance for the second surface. So 1 minus epsilon 2 A2 into epsilon 2. And when we write down the heat transfer for this condition, what can we write? We can simply write the heat transfer rate between surface 1 to 2. I will specially write over here without shield when there was no shield. Then at that point it will be equal to whatever is the potential difference between two terminals. So that is simply EB1 minus EB2 divided by first one is the surface resistance, we will call it as R1. This one is the space resistance, so we call it as R1 and 2. And this one is for only one surface, so this is R2. So this will be R1 plus R12 plus R2. Okay, and now we can quantify it. So what do we get over here? Blackbody emissive power. How do we write it? We write it like this: sigma into T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by, first R1 is this parameter, 1 minus epsilon 1 upon A1 epsilon 1 plus space resistance 1 upon A1 F12 plus surface resistance 1 minus epsilon 2 upon A2 epsilon 2. Now, if surfaces are large enough, then by Sheff factor algebra, we can consider that A1 is equal to A2 is equal to some area A by Sheff factor algebra. So that area can be taken out as a common parameter from all these terms and it can be shifted to numerator. Okay, so the expression looks something like this: sigma A T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by. Now we should handle the terms carefully. We will separate the denominator. A1 has already gone in the numerator. Then 1 upon epsilon 1 minus epsilon 1 upon epsilon 1. So that will be minus 1 plus 1 upon. In this case, A1 that we have taken out, F12 surfaces are large enough. So F12 will also be equal to 1. Finished with the second term. The third term, 1 upon, again A2 taken out. So 1 upon epsilon 2 minus epsilon 2 upon epsilon 2, which is equal to 1. So this is negative 1, this is positive 1. They will absorb each other. So if two surfaces are simply exchanging the radiation and they are having same area and they are large enough, then we can write down the heat transfer as sigma A into T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by 1 upon epsilon 1 plus 1 upon epsilon 2 minus 1. And this is nothing but Q122 if it is without shield. Okay, so we will keep this in mind. So because this expression will constitute, it will make a fundamental expression which will be utilized in every step henceforth. It will be required in every step henceforth. So you see, it is simply sigma A multiplied by first temperature raised to 4 minus second temperature raised to 4 upon 1 upon emissivity of first surface plus 1 upon emissivity of the second surface minus 1. Now we can extend this understanding to our problem at hand. In this case, or using that same expression, we can calculate the heat transfer between surface 1 and 3 and heat transfer between surface 3 and 2. Remember, at steady state, heat transfer between 1 and 3 will be equal to heat transfer between 3 and 2 because the radiation shield, this radiation shield, it does not add or remove any energy from this system. So because of that, Q1 heat transfer between 1 and 3 is equal to heat transfer between 3 and 2, and then we will see how to write it. So please keep this in mind that radiation shield does not add or remove any energy from the system. So now let us move to the next step. Okay, so now what do we see? At steady state, Q1 to 2 is equal to my mistake, it will be Q1 to 3, because radiation shield is designated as surface number 3. It is equal to Q3 to 2. Okay, now how do we proceed with this? Between surface 1 and 3, it will be simply sigma A multiplied by T1 raised to 4 minus T3 raised to 4 divided by 1 upon emissivity of the first surface plus emissivity of the next surface, which is now surface number 3, minus 1. It will be equal to sigma A. Remember, we have considered area as the first surface, as area of the second surface, as area of the shield itself, equal to capital A, because they are large enough. So for the heat transfer between 2 and 3, sigma A and in the bracket T3 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4, because we have considered that here the temperature T1 is greater than T2. Okay, even if there is other case, still the relation will be standing true. There won't be any problem. All right. So sigma A into T3 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by emissivity of the first surface, emissivity of the next surface minus 1. Okay. Now what we can do? We can reduce the terms in the equation so that manipulation becomes easy. So how do we do that? Let us consider that this entire bracket is nothing but, we consider this entire bracket as small a, and this entire term, this entire bracket as small b. Also, from both the sides, what we can see, this sigma a can be eliminated. It can be absorbed from the both the sides. So what do we get over here? We get T1 raised to 4 minus T3 raised to 4 divided by small a. It will be equal to T3 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by small b. Now let us separate the denominator. So what do we get over here? T1 raised to 4 upon a minus T3 raised to 4 upon a. It will be equal to T3 raised to 4 upon b minus T2 raised to 4 upon b. Let us take this negative T3 on the other side and this negative T2 term on the left side. So combining, what do we get? We get T1 raised to 4 upon a plus T2 raised to 4 upon b. It will be equal to T3 raised to 4 upon b plus T3 raised to 4 upon a. So we have done this. That's it. Okay, now we can find out the LCM for the all the terms. So for this side, we have b into T1 raised to 4 plus a into T2 raised to 4 divided by AB. It will be equal to a into T3 raised to 4 plus b into T3 raised to 4 divided by a into b. This AB and this AB can be cancelled. Okay, and here we can write this, we can take out T3 raised to 4 as the common parameter from here and from here. So we get T3 raised to 4 into a plus b. So because of that, we can write, we are interested in T3. So, and now actually we should be clear why we are doing this exercise. So we are doing this so that we can write down this Q13 equation in terms of T1 and T2 only. Okay, so we get T3 raised to 4 is equal to b. We will divide this a plus b on the left hand side of the equation. B into T1 raised to 4 plus a into T2 raised to 4 divided by A plus B. We will substitute this entire term for T3 in the equation of heat transfer between 1 and 2. Okay, then when we substitute, what do we get? We will write it down systematically and slowly so that we don't miss upon any term. Okay, so after substitution, okay, actually it should be on this side. Okay, after substitution, what do we get? Q13 is equal to sigma A. Remember, the denominator was entirely considered as A, so we can simply write it as sigma A upon small a. Our writing will be reduced into T1 raised to 4. So, into T1 raised to 4 minus T3 raised to 4. So, instead of that, we will write B into T1 raised to 4 plus A into T2 raised to 4 divided by A plus B. That's it. Now we will again find the LCM. We will multiply T1 raised to 4 by this A plus B. So what do we get over here? Okay, what do we get over here? We get sigma A upon small a in the bracket A T1 raised to 4 plus B T1 raised to 4 minus this B T1 raised to 4. This is minus, this is plus, so the next term will become minus A into T2 raised to 4 and divide it by A plus B. Okay, now what do we see over here? This is B T1 raised to 4 positive, this is B T1 raised to 4 negative. So B T1 raised to 4, B T1 raised to 4 can be absorbed. What remains with us is A into T1 raised to 4 minus A into T2 raised to 4. Now we can take A as common from both the terms, so that gives us sigma A upon small a multiplied by A into T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by A plus B. Again A and A, they are cancelled. So now what remains with us is this term sigma A into T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by A plus B. So now afterwards, what do we get? We will now substitute the value of A and B. Remember, this is the value of A and this is the value of B. I will do this manipulation here itself. So if I want to write down A plus B, it will be simply 1 upon epsilon 1, 1 upon epsilon 1 plus 1 upon epsilon 2 plus, if I can see here 1 upon epsilon 3 and 1 upon epsilon 3, so that will be 2 upon epsilon 3 minus 1 minus 1. In this way we can write it. So I will do this over here. So it will be simply sigma A into T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by A is nothing but 1 upon epsilon 1 plus 1 upon epsilon 2 minus 1 on this side, plus from this 2 upon epsilon 3 we can write 2 upon epsilon 3 minus 1. So this is heat transfer rate between surface 1 and 3. This will be the basic expression. So you see that heat transfer between 1 and 3, it is expressed in terms of temperatures T1 and T2. So at that point, even we do not need to know the temperature of the third surface or the radiation shield. We just need to know its emissivity. Alright, now also we draw some conclusion out of this expression. What are the conclusions? Let us say if emissivity of the first surface is equal to emissivity of the second surface is equal to emissivity of the third surface, all the emissivities are equal, then at that point what will happen? Then in this instance, this will be 1 upon epsilon, 1 upon epsilon and 2 upon epsilon. So actually this will be Q13 will be equal to sigma A into T1 raised to 4 minus T2 raised to 4 divided by 1 upon epsilon plus 1 upon epsilon. This will be 2 upon epsilon minus 1. We will write it in a very convenient form, plus again this is as it is 2 upon, okay, we have considered this as epsilon, so 2 upon epsilon. So we see that this is 2 times the entire bracket, so we can write for that it will be equal to sigma a into t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4 divided by 2 times the bracket 2 upon epsilon minus 1, that is q13. Okay, so what do we observe over here? When we parameterize this, we observe that this entire term sigma a t1 raised to 4 minus t2 raised to 4 upon 2 epsilon minus 1, this is nothing but heat exchange between two surfaces. This is very similar to this expression between two surfaces. So it means that because now you have inserted one radiation shield, so the heat transfer between the surface 1 and surface 3, heat transfer because of the radiation shield or heat transfer with radiation shield, it has actually reduced by half. So what we can write over here, it is equal to 1 by 2 and heat transfer between the surface 1 and 2. That is a very important understanding, that if let us say in ideal case emissivities of all the three surfaces are equal, then because of insertion of radiation shield, the heat transfer rate is actually reducing by half. Okay, so I hope this has been useful for you. Thank you.